I am sitting in my brand new Mercedes E-Class right now, parked across the street from a house I used to call home. The leather seats still smell fresh, the engine purrs quietly, and through the windshield I can see the life I left behind crumbling in real time. 2 years ago, I believed family was everything. I trusted my wife with my whole heart. I gave my brother a place to stay when he had nothing. I never thought my own blood would be the one to destroy everything I built. But that phone call 3 hours ago, the desperation in Kyle's voice, told me everything had finally caught up to them. I am about to walk into that house, and what happens next will close this chapter forever. Before I take you through what happened when I opened that door, I would love to know, where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever trusted the wrong people and paid the price, hit that like button right now. And subscribe, because you will want to hear how this story ends. Believe me, what happened next? It is something I never saw coming. Let me take you back to where it all started 3 years ago, when I still believed in happy endings. 3 years ago, my life looked perfect on paper. My name is Roosevelt. I was 29 years old, and I had what most people dream about. I worked as a software engineer in Seattle, pulling in $75,000 a year. Not rich, but comfortable, stable. I lived in a small house in the suburbs with my wife Diana. We were still paying the mortgage, but it was ours. Every morning I would wake up to the smell of coffee she made, and every evening I would come home to her smile waiting at the door. We had been married for 4 years, and we were planning to start a family the following year. Life felt simple. Life felt safe. My younger brother Kyle was a different story. He was 26, 3 years younger than me, and he had been struggling for as long as I could remember. While I spent my college years studying engineering, Kyle dropped out halfway through his sophomore year. He bounced from job to job, never lasting more than a few months anywhere. He was living with our parents in Portland, sleeping in his childhood bedroom, and honestly, I felt bad for him. Our parents, Harold and Margaret, they loved both of us equally, but they had always leaned on me to be the responsible one, the one who made it. And whenever Kyle hit rock bottom, which happened often, they would call me. They would ask if I could help out, send some money, give him advice, be a big brother. I never said no. How could I? He was my brother. I loved him. I thought he just needed time to figure things out, to find his path. Diana supported me completely. She would always say, "Family comes first, Roosevelt. If Kyle needs help, we help him. That is what good people do." I believed her. I trusted her judgment. She worked as a nurse at the local hospital, and she had this way of seeing the good in everyone. It was one of the things I loved most about her. Our marriage was not flashy, but it was real. We had our routines. On weekends, we would cook dinner together, trying new recipes we found online. We would curl up on the couch and watch movies until we fell asleep. Every Friday, I would stop at the flower shop on my way home from work and pick up a small bouquet for her. Nothing expensive, just daisies or tulips, whatever looked fresh. She would light up every single time like it was the first time I had ever done it. She had this way of making everything feel lighter, easier. When I was stressed about work, she would rub my shoulders and tell me it would be okay. When I doubted myself, she reminded me how far I had come. I thought we were building something that would last forever. Then March came around, and everything started to shift. Kyle called me on a Tuesday afternoon. I was at my desk debugging some code when my phone buzzed. I almost did not answer, but I saw it was him. He sounded rough. "Roosevelt?" "I messed up again," he said. "I got fired, and my landlord is kicking me out because I am 3 months behind on rent. I do not have anywhere to go." My stomach dropped. I asked him what happened, and he gave me the usual excuses. The boss did not like him. The job was not a good fit. He was trying his best. I had heard it all before, but this time felt different. This time he had nowhere to go. I told him I would call him back, and I went to talk to Diana. I found her in the kitchen chopping vegetables for dinner. I explained the situation, expecting her to hesitate to at least ask some questions, but she did not. She just put down the knife, wiped her hands on a towel, and said, "He is your brother Roosevelt. Of course he can stay with us. We have the extra room. He just needs to get back on his feet. It will be fine." Her certainty made me feel better. If Diana thought it was okay, then it was okay. I called Kyle back and told him he could stay in our guest room for a few weeks, just until he found a job and saved up enough to get his own place again. He thanked me over and over. "You are saving my life, bro. I will make this right. I promise." Kyle moved in the following weekend. He showed up with 2 duffel bags and a backpack, everything he owned stuffed inside. He looked tired, worn down, but he smiled when he walked through the door. "Thanks for this, man. I will not be a burden. I will find work fast." Diana showed him the guest room, which was really just our living room with a fold-out couch, and he settled in. The first week, I have to admit, things seemed fine. Kyle was polite. He cleaned up after himself. He even cooked breakfast a few times, pancakes and eggs, nothing fancy but thoughtful. I started to think maybe this would be good for him. Maybe having structure, being around people who cared, would help him turn things around. Diana and Kyle got along well. Maybe too well. But I did not think anything of it at the time. When I came home from work, I would find them talking in the kitchen or watching TV together. Diana told me Kyle had helped her fix the cabinet door that had been sticking for months. I felt grateful. It was nice to have another person around the house, someone to share the load. Kyle seemed lighter, happier. He told me he was applying for jobs every day, sending out resumes, going to interviews. I encouraged him. "Take your time, man. Focus on finding the right fit. You have been through a lot. Just get your head straight first." He thanked me. "You have always been the better brother, Ro. I do not know what I would do without you." By the second week, I started noticing small things. Kyle still had not found a job. When I asked him about it, he said the market was tough, that he had a few leads, but nothing solid yet. Fair enough, I did not push. But the bills started creeping up. The electric bill was higher. We were going through groceries faster. I did not say anything because I did not want to make Kyle feel worse than he already did. Diana told me to be patient. "He is trying, honey. Job hunting is stressful. Give him time." I trusted her. I always trusted her. Then the second month hit, and things started to feel off. Kyle still had not contributed anything financially. Every time I gently brought it up, he would apologize profusely. "I am so sorry, bro. I will pay you back as soon as I land something. I promise." And Diana would jump in to defend him. "Do not be so hard on him, Roosevelt. He is going through a lot. He needs support, not pressure." I backed off. I did not want to cause tension in my own home. I did not want to be the bad guy. But I started noticing other things too. Kyle and Diana were spending more time together. They would be laughing in the kitchen when I got home, and the laughter would stop the second I walked in. They would exchange glances I could not quite read. When I asked what they were talking about, they would say, "Oh, nothing, just something funny that happened earlier." I brushed it off. They were just becoming friends. That was normal, right? By the third month, Diana changed. She was not the same woman I had married. She stopped waiting for me at the door when I came home. She stopped making coffee in the mornings. She seemed tired all the time, constantly lying on the couch saying she was exhausted from work. I would ask her if she was okay if something was wrong, and she would just say, "I am fine, Roosevelt. Just tired. That is all." Our intimacy disappeared. Every time I tried to get close to her, she had an excuse. She had a headache. She needed to sleep early. She was not feeling well. I tried to be understanding. I thought maybe she was burning out at the hospital. I started doing more around the house, cooking dinner, doing the laundry, hoping it would help. But nothing changed. Then I started noticing something else. Diana was getting sick in the mornings. I would hear her in the bathroom throwing up, and my heart would leap. I thought maybe she was pregnant. We had been talking about starting a family. Maybe it had happened naturally. I asked her one morning, "Babe, should we get a test? You have been sick a lot lately." The look on her face, I will never forget it. Pure panic. Her eyes went wide and she looked away from me. "No," she said quickly. "It is just food poisoning. I will be fine." I felt disappointed, but I did not push. If she said it was food poisoning, then it was food poisoning. But I could not ignore the other changes. Diana started wearing looser clothes, oversized sweaters, and baggy pants, even though it was spring. She and Kyle started going out together more often, to the grocery store, for walks, to run errands. I was working long hours, trying to secure a promotion, so I did not think much of it. They were both home all day. It made sense they would do things together. One afternoon, I came home early from work because a meeting got canceled. I walked in and found Diana and Kyle in the kitchen, standing close together talking in low voices. They jumped apart when they heard the door. I asked what they were talking about and Diana smiled, but it did not reach her eyes. "Kyle is thinking about moving to California. I was just giving him some advice." I nodded. That made sense. I told Kyle that sounded like a good plan, that a fresh start might be exactly what he needed. I believed them. I believed every single word. The truth came crashing down on a Saturday afternoon in the 5th month of Kyle living with us. Diana and I were at the grocery store pushing a cart down the produce aisle picking out vegetables for the week. It was supposed to be a normal, boring errand. Nothing special. Then I heard someone call her name. Diana, I turned and saw Dr. Hendricks, Diana's obstetrician from the hospital. She was a kind woman, mid-50s, always smiling. She walked up to us with a warm grin. "Diana, how are you feeling? How is the pregnancy going? Everything okay with the baby?" Time stopped. I froze in place, my hand still on the shopping cart. I looked at Diana, waiting for her to correct the doctor to explain that there was some mistake. But Diana's face went completely white. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Dr. Hendricks noticed the tension immediately. Her smile faded. "Oh," she said quietly. "I thought I am sorry. I should go." And she walked away quickly, leaving us standing there in the middle of the grocery store. I could not move. I could not breathe. Pregnancy. I turned to Diana. She was staring at the floor, her whole body shaking. I forced myself to speak. "What is she talking about?" Diana did not answer. She just stood there, frozen. People were walking past us, going about their shopping, completely unaware that my entire world was collapsing in aisle 3. I said her name again, louder this time. "Diana." "What is she talking about?" She finally looked up at me, and I saw tears streaming down her face. "Roosevelt, I can explain. Let me explain." But she did not explain. She just cried. I abandoned the cart right there and walked out of the store. Diana followed me to the car. We drove home in complete silence. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. My mind was racing, trying to make sense of what I had just heard. When we got home, Kyle was not there. Thank God. I do not know what I would have done if he had been standing in the living room when we walked in. Diana and I stood in the kitchen facing each other. I needed answers, and I needed them now. "How far along are you?" I asked. My voice sounded strange, distant, like it was coming from someone else. Diana was sobbing, barely able to get the words out. "Almost 5 months. 5 months." I did the math in my head. Kyle had moved in 5 months ago. The realization hit me like a truck. I felt like I was falling, like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. Is it mine? I already knew the answer, but I needed to hear her say it. She shook her head, unable to look at me. Who, I asked, even though I knew. Even though every cell in my body already knew. She did not answer. I asked again, my voice rising. Who, Diana? She whispered so quietly I almost did not hear her. Kyle. The name hung in the air between us. Kyle, my brother. The person I had taken in, fed, supported, trusted. The person sleeping on my couch. I sat down on the kitchen floor because my legs would not hold me anymore. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. My ears were ringing. I could not breathe properly. Diana tried to come closer, reaching out to touch me. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Roosevelt. I did not mean for this to happen. I pulled away from her. Do not touch me. Just do not. We sat there in silence. I do not know for how long. Minutes, maybe an hour. I could not process what I was hearing. My wife, my brother, 5 months. Kyle came home at 7 that evening. I heard his key in the door, heard his footsteps in the hallway. He walked into the kitchen and saw Diana crying, saw me sitting on the floor, and he knew immediately. His face went pale. He stopped in the doorway, his backpack sliding off his shoulder. How long, I asked him. My voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. He did not answer. I stood up and asked again, louder this time. How long, Kyle? He looked at the floor. I am sorry, bro. Since the first week I moved in. The first week. Before I had even noticed anything was wrong. Before I had any chance to protect myself, to see what was happening in my own home. I felt tears running down my face. I had not cried in years, not since my grandfather died, but I could not stop it now. Why, I asked him. I gave you everything. I gave you a home, food, money. I trusted you. Why? Kyle just shook his head. I do not know, man. I do not know. It just happened. Diana spoke up, her voice shaking. We fell in love, Roosevelt. We did not plan it. We did not want to hurt you. I laughed. It was a bitter, broken sound. Fell in love in my house, in my bed. She did not answer. She could not. I looked at both of them. These two people I had loved more than anyone in the world, and I felt nothing but disgust. Get out. Both of you, get out of my house. Diana tried to plead. Roosevelt, please. Let us talk about this. We can figure something out. I screamed at her. I had never screamed at anyone in my life, but I could not control it anymore. Get out of my house. Now Kyle grabbed Diana's arm. Come on. We need to go. Where will we go? Diana asked, looking panicked. I do not care, I told them. Call your parents, call a hotel, call anyone. But you are not staying here another minute. Pack your things and leave. They moved quickly, grabbing clothes and essentials, stuffing them into bags. I stood in the kitchen watching them, feeling like I was watching a movie instead of my real life. Kyle tried to say something as he passed me. Bro, I just wanted to say that but I cut him off. Do not call me that. You are not my brother anymore. You stopped being my brother the second you touched my wife. They left at 9 o'clock that night. I watched them walk out the door, Diana still crying, Kyle's head hanging low. The door closed, and I was alone. Completely, utterly alone. I sat in the dark living room for hours. I could not turn on the lights. I could not move. I just sat there looking at the space where they had been. The couch where Kyle slept. The coffee table where Diana would put her feet up while we watched movies. Our wedding photo was still hanging on the wall, smiling faces from a different lifetime. I cried until I had nothing left. My chest hurt. My head hurt. Everything hurt. I kept asking myself what I had done wrong. Was I not a good enough husband? Was I not a good enough brother? What could I have done differently? At 11 that night, my phone rang. It was my mother, Margaret. Roosevelt. Kyle told me everything. Is it true? Yes, Mom. It is true. She was crying. How could this happen? How could they do this to you? I do not know, Mom. I do not know. There was a pause, and then she said something that made me feel even more alone. But they need help, honey. Diana is pregnant. They have nowhere to go. You are not asking me to help them? Are you? I could not believe what I was hearing. He is your brother, she said. Family forgives. Family sticks together. I hung up on her. I could not listen anymore. Even my own mother was not on my side. Everyone expected me to be the bigger person to forgive, to help. But I was the one who had been destroyed. I was the one left with nothing. The first week after they left was the worst week of my life. I called in sick to work and spent 7 days in that empty house doing nothing. I did not eat properly. I did not sleep. Maybe 2 or 3 hours a night. And even then I would wake up thinking it had all been a nightmare, only to realize it was real. My phone would not stop buzzing. Diana called 47 times. She sent me text after text. I am so sorry. Please talk to me. I love you. I made a mistake. Kyle texted too. I know I messed up. Can we talk? Please, bro. I did not respond to any of them. I could not. What was there to say? My best friend Jamal came over on the 5th day. He knocked on the door until I finally answered. When I opened it, he took one look at me and said, "Man, you look terrible. Come on, let me in." I let him inside. We sat on the couch, and I told him everything, every single detail. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "That is messed up, Roosevelt. That is beyond messed up. But you cannot let them destroy you like this. You have to get up. You have to keep going." His words did not make me feel better, but they did make me realize I could not stay in that house anymore. I could not keep living in this tomb of memories. I made an appointment with a lawyer the next day. I filed for divorce. I did not ask for anything. I did not want the house. I did not want money. I just wanted it to be over as fast as possible. Washington State allows for quick divorces if both parties agree, and Diana agreed immediately. She signed the papers without a fight. When I dropped them off at her temporary address, she opened the door and just looked at me with red, swollen eyes. "I will sign them," she said quietly. "I am sorry, Roosevelt. I am so, so sorry." I did not respond. I just walked away. 6 weeks later, the divorce was finalized. It was over. 4 years of marriage gone. I sold the house. I could not stand being there anymore. Every room reminded me of what I had lost, what had been taken from me. I moved into a small one-bedroom apartment near my office in Seattle. It was plain empty, nothing like the home Diana and I had built together. But it was mine. Diana and Kyle moved in together, staying at a small apartment that our parents helped them rent in Portland. I heard this through my mother, who still tried to call me once a week. I stopped answering after the 3rd call. For the first time in my life, I threw myself completely into work. I started going in early, staying late, working 12 to 14 hours a day. I volunteered for every difficult project no one else wanted to touch. Keeping my brain busy meant I did not have time to think about Diana or Kyle or the baby that was not mine. 3 months after the divorce, I completed a major project for my company, one that had been stalled for over a year. My boss, Mr. Patterson, called me into his office. "Roosevelt," he said, "this is exceptional work. You have gone above and beyond. I am promoting you to senior engineer. Your new salary will be $110,000. That was a 50% raise. I should have been happy. I should have celebrated. But I felt nothing. Just emptiness. I was making more money than I ever had, but I was more alone than I had ever been. Jamal would not let me disappear completely. He dragged me to the gym one Saturday morning. "You need to get out of that apartment, man. You are going to lose your mind if you just work and sleep." I did not want to go, but I had nothing to lose. We started going to the gym 5 days a week. I had never been athletic, but working out gave me something to focus on, another way to channel the anger and pain I was carrying. Over the next 4 months, I lost 32 pounds. I gained muscle. I started to feel stronger physically and slowly mentally too. I joined a running club. I met new people who did not know anything about my past, who did not look at me with pity. I started reading self-improvement books. Atomic Habits. Can't Hurt Me. I realized I had spent my whole life depending on other people to make me feel worthy. I had needed Diana's approval, my parents' approval, everyone's approval. Now I was learning to approve of myself. I also started learning about money. Really learning. I opened investment accounts. I maxed out my 401k contributions. I started a Roth IRA. I read everything I could about stocks and real estate. I stopped spending money on things I did not need and started saving aggressively. Within 1 year, I had $40,000 in savings. It felt good. It felt like control, like I was building something that no one could take away from me. A year and a half after the divorce, I got a phone call from a recruiter. A major tech company in San Francisco wanted to interview me for a senior software architect position. The offer was $175,000 a year plus stock options. I took the interview. I got the job. I moved to San Francisco and never looked back. My new apartment had a view of the bay. My new coworkers were brilliant and driven. I was challenged every single day, and I loved it. 6 months into the job, I led a project that saved the company $3 million. They gave me a $50,000 bonus. I used some of it to buy my first real luxury, a brand new Mercedes E-Class. Black exterior, tan leather interior. When I sat in the driver's seat for the first time, I felt something I had not felt in years. Pride. Around that time, I met Sophia. She was a financial analyst, 31 years old, attending the same networking event I was. We started talking about market trends and ended up talking for 3 hours straight. She was smart, independent, confident. Nothing like Diana. When I told her about my past, she did not pity me. She just said, "That was not your fault, Roosevelt. You deserved better. And you are better now." We started dating slowly. I was cautious. I had been burned so badly that I did not know if I could trust anyone again. But Sophia was patient. She never pushed. She never lied. She communicated openly about everything. After 3 months, I realized I was falling for her. Not the desperate, blind love I had felt for Diana. This was different. Steadier. Built on respect and honesty. Then one Friday evening, I was driving home from work in my new Mercedes thinking about dinner plans with Sophia when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello." There was a pause, and then I heard a voice I had not heard in 2 years. Roosevelt. "It is me, Kyle." My entire body tensed. I should have hung up immediately, but curiosity got the better of me. "What do you want? Please do not hang up. I need to talk to you. About what? Can we meet? I need to see you." "Why? Where are you, Portland?" "Same place." "Can you come, Kyle? I have not talked to you in 2 years." "Why would I come to Portland, please, bro?" "It is urgent. Diana and I, we are in trouble." I almost laughed. I almost hung up right then. Instead, I said I will think about it. And I hung up. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, parked outside my building, trying to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to delete his number and forget the call ever happened. But another part of me, a part I did not fully understand, wanted closure. I wanted to see what had become of them. I wanted to see if the choices they made had been worth destroying me. The next morning, I made a decision. I would go to Portland, not to help them, not to forgive them, but to close this chapter of my life completely, to see them one last time and walk away forever. I left San Francisco early Saturday morning. The drive from San Francisco to Portland takes about 10 hours. I had plenty of time to think. I listened to podcasts, music, let my mind wander. I thought about the person I used to be 3 years ago, naive, trusting, weak. I thought about who I had become, stronger, wiser, free. By the time I crossed into Oregon, I felt calm, ready. I pulled up to the address Kyle had given me just after 5 in the evening. The neighborhood was rough. The houses were small, paint-peeling yards overgrown. This was nothing like the neighborhood Diana and I had lived in. I parked my Mercedes on the street and looked at the house. It was falling apart. The porch sagged. One of the windows was cracked and taped over with cardboard. I sat in my car for a minute taking it all in. Then I got out. The front door opened before I even reached the porch. Kyle stepped out. I barely recognized him. He had lost weight, but not in a healthy way. He looked gaunt, tired. His clothes were old and wrinkled. His face was unshaven. He looked at me, and I saw shame in his eyes. "You came." I did not say anything. I just nodded. Behind him, Diana appeared. She was holding a baby, maybe 18 months old. A little boy with dark hair. She looked older, worn down. The brightness she used to have was completely gone. Neither of us said anything for a long moment. Then Kyle stepped aside. "Come in." I walked into the house. It was worse inside than outside. The furniture was mismatched and falling apart. The walls had water stains. There was a smell of mold and old food. This was where they were raising their child. This was what they had chosen over the life we could have had. I sat down on a sagging couch. Kyle and Diana sat across from me. The baby started fussing and Diana tried to soothe him. "Why did you call me?" I asked Kyle. He looked at Diana, then back at me. "Thanks for coming. I know we do not deserve it. Answer the question." "Why am I here?" Kyle took a deep breath. After everything happened after the baby was born, things got bad. Really bad. I could not find steady work. Diana got fired from the hospital because she took too much maternity leave. We have been living on disability benefits and food stamps. Our parents help when they can, but it is not enough. We are drowning in debt. And now we are getting evicted next month. Diana spoke up, her voice barely above a whisper. "We have nowhere to go, Roosevelt. We have a baby. We are desperate." Kyle leaned forward. "I know I have no right to ask you this. I know what we did was unforgivable. But can you help us? Just some money to get back on our feet? To find a new place? Anything." They both looked at me with desperate, hopeful eyes. The room was silent except for the baby's quiet whimpering. I sat there looking at them, these two people who had torn my life apart, and I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just complete indifference. I stood up slowly. Kyle and Diana watched me waiting. I looked at Kyle, then at Diana, then at the baby who would grow up with a cheater for a father and a liar for a mother. And I smiled. Not a cruel smile, not a vindictive smile, just a smile of pure freedom. "No." Kyle blinked. "What I said? No. I am not helping you." Diana stood up, still holding the baby. "Please, Roosevelt. For the baby. Please." I shook my head. "That is not my problem. You two made your choices. You wanted each other. You got each other. Now live with it." I turned and walked toward the door. Kyle jumped up and followed me. "Roosevelt, please. We are family." I stopped at the door and turned back one last time. "You wanted her, Kyle. You got her. Congratulations. Now deal with the consequences." I opened the door and walked out into the evening air. Kyle called after me from the porch, but I did not look back. I got into my Mercedes, closed the door, and started the engine. As I pulled away from that broken-down house, I saw Kyle standing on the porch in my rearview mirror, getting smaller and smaller. And I laughed. Not a bitter laugh, a genuine, relieved laugh. I laughed, shut the door, and drove off in my new Mercedes. The drive back to San Francisco felt lighter. I called Sophia. "Hey, I am heading home. Cannot wait to see you." "How did it go?" she asked. It went exactly how it needed to. When I got back to my apartment that night, I sat on my balcony overlooking the bay and thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal had nearly destroyed me, but it had also freed me. It had forced me to become someone stronger, someone who did not need anyone else's validation to know his worth. Kyle and Diana did me a favor. They removed themselves from my life and made room for something better. For success, for real love, for peace. I learned that forgiveness does not mean you have to help the people who hurt you. It does not mean you have to save them when they fall. You can let go without looking back. You can move on without carrying them with you. And sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It is living well. It is building a life so good that the people who tried to break you realize they destroyed their only chance at something real. I will never forget what they did, but I will also never let it define me. I am Roosevelt. I am a senior software architect making $250,000 a year. I drive a Mercedes. I have a woman who loves and respects me. I have my dignity. And Kyle and Diana, they have each other, each. And that, as it turns out, is punishment enough. So here's my question for you. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? How did you move forward? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one. If this story resonated with you, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because I share real stories about real life every single week. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that they can survive betrayal and come out stronger on the other side. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that you are stronger than whatever tried to break you. Stay strong, stay focused, and never let anyone dim your light. I will see you in the next one.